Go.
Hi, my name is Chantal and I am from New Brunswick, Canada, and you are watching Loudmouth presented. Ah! How do you have it? Presented. No, presents, not presented.
Yes.
Just use it for your bloopers.
I'm not gonna. No. We're recording now. We are recording now.
Stop.
We're not stopping it now. That was far
Okay.
too. That was far too charming to leave on the chopping room floor. I mean, come on.
Okay. Well, if this makes the cut, take two.
All right. Okay. Go.
My name is Chantal and I'm from New Brunswick, Canada, and you're watching Loudmouth presents Off the Top Rope.
Hey. Awesome. How are you doing, Chantal?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much for asking. You come highly recommended from a former CPW heavyweight champion, BRODY STEELE. How did that relationship come to be?
Well, I was fortunate enough to have been trained by BRODY STEELE.
Right.
I was part of his last class, actually, so that was amazing.
Right.
And in our area, people are kind of known, like wrestlers are kind of known to just stick to what's around.
Sure.
Rather than go out there and go further and go look for opportunities elsewhere. And I was hungry for more, and I just went out there and I got out of my area, and he saw that, and without his help, he just saw me like go places, example Quebec, and all these other provinces in Canada,
Right.
and even in Maine, because like in the United States where I'm located, the border is just 4 hours away, and it's Maine. So
right.
I wrestled in Maine as well. So he saw that, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to help you go even further, and I'll just recommend you to somewhere that you've never been before, and somewhere big. And now we're doing this podcast.
Awesome. So let's go back to the very beginning. The genesis of Chantal, being
Yes.
a young child, and you're sitting in front of your TV and you're watching wrestling. What is the first match that you're watching that captivated you and got you interested in wrestling?
I started watching wrestling when I was about 6 years old, but just because my brother was watching it and I wanted to be cool.
Okay, fair enough.
So at that time, it was more about like, wow, the characters, not the wrestling just yet.
Sure.
And the person that really like got me hooked and I wanted to watch it regardless if my brother was home or not, it was China. I was
Okay.
like, oh, just amazed by her, because not that I knew that at 6 years old, but I grew up to be quite the, like, not the outcast, but a little more like edgy, like not your typical like, hey, hi. No, I'm just, tattoos, but I'm super nice. I consider myself like a strong person.
Right.
And I think that's why, like, I was so amazed by her when I saw her. So that's what really drawn me to wrestling. And then of course, like, Macho Man, his character was like, he was so cool to me. So I started watching him more, and that's when I realized that I loved the actual wrestling and not just like the entertainment part of it with the characters.
Okay. So you're watching China, and obviously that's in the DX era, and coming out of into the Attitude era and things like that.
Yes.
So you're watching all of these things happen, around China and things like that. What's the first match that you can remember watching?
Oh my goodness. That's a tough one, because I used to like rewatch all, like, because my mom used to record it. Yeah. So I would just watch it all the time.
Okay.
God, that's a really tough one, because I started so young that I can't really pinpoint the exact first match that I saw, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the next question leading into that is, what is your guilty pleasure match? The match that you would always put on, not just to learn from, but just a match that you've just watched over and over again that for some reason is just fun for you. You know, it doesn't have to be a popular one. Like a lot of guys will say, like Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker at 26.
Right.
But what is that match for you? That guilty pleasure match that you just love?
I think really like any match with, back again to Macho Man.
Mm,
I was watching that with my grandfather as well, and that was his favorite. And
okay.
I don't know, the entertainment when he was a heel, like when just any match with Macho Man in it, because he was so good at like getting the crowd like, constantly after him, and it was always one of my favorites.
Sure, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I noticed you have a pretty gnarly bruise on your arm. How did that come
Wrestling.
about?
Last weekend that was wrestling. I can never remember like at what point in the match I got a bruise anywhere, because
Good.
you're full of adrenaline, and it just, you realize after, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
that happens quite often.
Yeah, it seems well, personally, my favorite thing to do the next morning after a match is play join the dots, because you don't remember somebody hitting you on the arm, but you've got a bruise over here, and then you've got a bruise over here, then it's on the inside of your arm. You're like, oh, that's interesting. Nobody was there, you know, and you get all these blue marks and bruises. You're like, okay, this one, and then you start drawing lines to them, and interesting pictures.
Yeah, yeah, that is true.
Okay. Right. So you wrestling a lot in Canada and in Maine, and that type of thing. Which area do you prefer that you feel you do your best work in? Is it in the Maritimes, or is it in New Brunswick, or when you go to one of the major city centers and things like that? Where do you feel that the most energy from Chantal gets put into the crowd?
Um, okay, so I would say in my area,
Mhm.
um, and it those types of matches are not a Brody Steele preferred match.
Right.
He's not a fan of intergender, but I had no choice, because
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
my area there was barely any girls. Like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, it's all like provinces that are, around in Canada. That's all together almost. And when I started, I had my best friend Madison Miles, but she then, after the second year, she moved to England
Right. Right.
to
Right.
wrestle there. So my feud with her kind of ended, but she really taught me like how to properly like lay it in without like hurting someone in the
Sure.
ring.
Sure.
Like
Sure. Sure.
because we were so comfortable with each other. And then there was two girls, they kind of just quit, and like there was just no girls in my area. So I was in a lot of intergender matches, which came into that, like me being a striker more than move sets, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got used to taking a lot of moves from them, because and that's no jab to any women. It's just like, I just knew that a man could hold me properly. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when a girl is like the same size and you have to jump and it's not the same, it can get complicated. But I
Right.
most of my matches were against men, where it made sense. So most of my matches that I really liked, because it was hard hitting, it was really like intense, was with pretty much any
Sure.
male in my area.
Okay. Okay. Now, Brody is a former CPW heavyweight champion. We mentioned that. Did
Yes.
he at any time, mention his time in South Africa, and mention to you specifically about coming to South Africa? Because it's starting to be a destination for not only a lot of Canadians, but a lot of guys wanting to come to South Africa because of the
Yes.
vibe and the people and the food and everything like that.
Yeah. He did mention it quite a lot, but he was very picky into like who he would recommend. Like if you know, he heard that they were looking for someone, he wouldn't just recommend anyone, because
Sure.
it was one of his favorite places to wrestle. So he wanted to make sure that he would vouch for someone that would be super respectful about it and super grateful about it, just like he was.
Sure. Sure.
So he did try at first before COVID, but by that time I was only about like 2.5, 3 years in.
Sure. Okay.
And even though like you don't completely feel ready sometimes, it's the experience is what will make you, you know, learn more and get ready even more. Like sometimes you just have to go ahead and do it. As an example, when I started training, 1 month after training, a girl dropped out and they needed someone to wrestle Madison Miles, and Brody was like, all right, sink or swim, kid, let's go. And I was like, I've only been training for a month. And he's like, no, you got this. So I kind of like, learned to like, just go, just do it. So I think that's why I've always been like eager to like learn more and go places, chase after like all these opportunities. It really helped to have him as a trainer.
Yeah. Now, Madison has been on the show twice before, and she's really has expressed her desire to come to South Africa as well. Do you think South Africa would be ready to see the reignition of the feud between yourself and Madison Miles? It sounded like it got quite heated at one stage.
And absolutely 100%. And the fact that feud was probably like 2-3 years ago, and now that we've both like gained so much more experience, I think it would be even better. So absolutely, that would be amazing.
All right.
That would be really.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk wrestling. What is it about professional wrestling at the moment that really does excite you?
Well, not only that, I've always loved it. It's there's a difference between like, oh, I used to watch it as a kid, and then people kind of grow out of that stage. I never really grew out of that stage. Like I was a teenager, I did, teenager thing. I kind of like not lost interest for wrestling, but I just didn't watch it anymore for a while. And I remember I was just like, there was not where I'm from, there was not much wrestling shows, like indie wrestling shows in my area, because it was such a small town, so they wouldn't even bother going down there. But I started seeing all these posters like 2-3 hours away, and I was like, you know what? I miss it. I want to go see it. So I started to go to every show like that was like close by. And I used to be like a dance teacher, and I thought that this was my passion. I really thought that it was. But when I saw Madison Miles in the ring, I was like, she's a young girl, she's doing it, like that's awesome. So I went to talk to her, and she guided me where to go. And just a few weeks after I started wrestling, it just things just feels right sometimes. And I just immediately realized, I'm like, it's not dance, it's this, literally this. Like, it just feels right. I'm loving it. I'm like, so that's how I really found out like this was my true passion.
Okay. That's awesome. And what is it about professional wrestling at the moment that you don't like?
In my area, I don't know if it's like this everywhere, probably. And it's because I was trained by Brody STEELE, and I was trained very old school. Like, you listen more than you speak. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get in that ring until you learn like everything else in wrestling. And now, like, since I got trained 5 years ago, and now I go to shows and it's like people talking back to the promoters, and I'm like, I don't like this, and I see promotions coming and going, and I just keep telling them, I'm like, it's because you don't put your foot down. The plus ones, like people showing up for their bookings with like their whole family, and that's 4 chairs that you could be selling, and you're just letting them come in with, you know what I mean? Like, there's no there's no more rules anymore, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
and yeah, it's just there's many. It's just it's so much easier to get into it and bypass like the full training. And I just,
I
as
get
someone
you.
who's
I get
went
you.
through it, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
I don't respect that. So yeah.
No, no, I get you. I get you. I mean, I had been wrestling for 4 years. I was a tag team champion
Mm-hmm.
at that stage, and I was still carrying bags. I was still tying shoelaces. I was still clean. Even now, 15 years in the game, I still clean locker room. You still put up the ring, still take it down,
Yeah.
all of that
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, that's how you pay your dues. And then you see, you know,
Absolutely.
people standing on the side that they've been training for 6, 7 months. They're not putting up the ring, taking down the ring. They're carrying bags, tying shoelaces.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not people must understand it's not a degrading thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
in Afrikaans in South Africa, we call it ongroening, which is your initiation. So you bring yourself into the
Yes.
business, shake
Yes.
everybody's hands, say hello,
Yes.
even if it's the person working at the door,
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
concessions, the people handling your merch, the
Yeah.
fans, even being a bad guy, selling your own merch and things like that. When you're in the
Yeah.
ring, you're the bad guy, but
Yeah.
you're selling your merch, being, you're thanking the guys, because whether they cheer you or boo you, they're buying your merch.
Exactly.
You can't
Exactly.
say, hey, you suck, buy my merch. You got to say, hey, thank you for buying my merch. Do you want me to sign
Yeah.
it? And then you sign it, you suck. That type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
that. I get that.
Absolutely.
All right.
100%.
Okay. You
Yeah.
mentioned in the beginning of the interview a lot of character-driven stuff and things like that. What at the moment is some of the gimmicks that you look at it and you go, man, that is a weak gimmick. That is how you portraying it is just weak. What's one or two gimmicks that you can say, I really don't connect with that.
That's a really good question. I feel like nowadays, and again, like I haven't really been in that many territories to know how it is compared to here, but people kind of just don't have a gimmick. They're kind of, I don't know, like it's like people choose a name, like let's say, like, I don't know, what can I use that as an example? Like someone would be called like David Lion or something,
Yeah.
but like he's not a lion at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they don't really have a gimmick, but they don't even understand it themselves.
Sure.
It's just, it's just hard to believe it as a fan.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. I get that. Okay. Now we're gonna do some fun stuff.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot some questions at you. Quick fire. First thing that comes to your mind.
Damn. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. WrestleMania or Royal Rumble?
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. China or Trish Stratus?
China.
Edge or Christian?
Edge.
Edge. Okay. AEW or WWE?
AEW.
Okay. Impact Wrestling or New Japan?
New Japan.
I have New Japan. Just on a side note, New Japan worries me a little because Japanese wrestlers don't respect necks. I'm just putting it out.
They don't
there.
respect what?
They don't respect necks.
Oh,
I
didn't know that.
No. Have you seen some of the? I've been watching some Joshi wrestling because the PWI 150 came out. The ladies.
No.
So I got familiar with some Joshi wrestling, and Manami Toyota just drop kicked this girl, and I could swear her chin touched her back. That's how this drop kick it was so violent. I was like, ooh. And then I watched it again, and then in slow motion and everything like that. And the way Manami just drop kicked this girl and her head just went back like that. I'm like, that's
Damn.
whiplash inducing drop kicks.
Oh wow. I mean, I've always knew that
terrifying.
they were really intense, but like that bad.
You know what? I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna WhatsApp it to you
Okay.
because I watched it, and you know, sometimes when you watch something and it's just you're like, and then you watch it again, you're like, you know, and you're like, hey guys, look at that. You know, it's one of those. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna WhatsApp it to you.
Okay.
Here it is. Manami Toyota commits dropkick murder on Akira Hokuta. It's violent. I don't know if you can see it there.
Oh!
Yeah. Did you see that? Did you see that? Watch it again. And of course, I just like said to everybody, because I'm not going to suffer by myself. I'm not going to suffer by myself.
God.
How do they not get whiplash? How do you not? Especially when you start training, you know, when you take that bump and you tense up your neck like this, and the next morning you wake up and like you just everything's stiff like here.
Yeah.
How? I don't get it. I don't get it. Sorry.
See, like I wouldn't have seen that because like I'm trying to like I work a lot. Like I live by myself. I have 3 dogs. Like I'm just always on the go and I never actually sit down and watch TV. And when I do, it's wrestling, but I haven't done that in so long that I'm not up to date with anything, really. So, okay, you just sent it to me.
No, I'm not suffering by myself. You're going to watch that again. You're going to send it to all your friends as well. Hey, guys. Oh, anyway. I don't.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So now we've got China as a standout. Now, as I mentioned, the PWR 150 has come out for the year. The top 150 female wrestlers. You obviously haven't seen the list. So a lot of Joshi wrestlers are in the top 10, and rightly so. I mean, they're fantastic wrestlers.
Yeah.
But is there anybody besides China who you would like to face in a dream match?
Well, currently I've been saying Toni Storm.
Okay.
I love her style. Absolutely love it. So I've always, she's one of my main first picks. Candice LeRae as well, especially in the indies. Like she was very impressive.
Yeah.
But just so far. I mean, like I said, I hadn't watched wrestling in so long. Like I'm sure if I was to sit down for a whole week and just like always watch wrestling, I would find amazing talent to be like that person.
Right.
But right now, like what I can answer for sure is those two, Toni Storm and Candice LeRae.
Yeah. And once again, Candice did a very similar thing that you're doing. Maybe not yours out of necessity. But she also, when she was with Joey Ryan, did a lot of intergender matches, intergender tag matches, and things like that. So your story kind of mirrors hers, although yours was a bit more out of necessity, and hers was just a bit more out of, you know, that you could hang, that you wanted to hang with that at that time.
Right.
If you were given contracts right now in front of you, right now, came in the post. One was for NXT and one was for AEW.
That's such a tough one. I just feel like AEW is more like we're using you as who you are.
Right.
Now that Triple H is in charge, obviously people are saying like it should be different. So right now, Sorry, you're probably hearing my dog chewing on something.
No, it's
right
fine.
right now it would be NXT.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The NXT brand, even when it was 2.0 and things like it, has a very smart way of bringing up their women and marketing their women and the female side of the wrestling. It was always captivating, and they always had interesting storylines and things like that. If they said to you, Chantal, you're in NXT now, what gimmick would personify your character most to present to the people, to the fans, to TV land? How would you present your gimmick to those people?
Like right now, I'm mostly just myself, like with the volume turned way high because I'm quite a character. But I would say probably like a warrior gimmick.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's the closest one that I can really be like, that would definitely be me. That's what I am kind of already. Just I'm just being myself, you know, like
Yeah.
in life in general, I don't take crap at all. Like, you know what I mean? Somebody literally, like when I'm walking my dogs late at night and like someone is like kind of looking creepy, I'll just stare like, you know,
Okay.
say something to me, you know? But yeah, I'm kind of just myself, but with a little twist of like, kind of like a warrior, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I fight
Okay.
for what I want.
All right. Okay. How's your promo skills?
It's big. It's become way better than it was. 5 years ago, I had the thickest accent because I'm French.
Okay.
But because I moved to an area that has more wrestling, and I moved here for wrestling training.
Mm-hmm.
Most of like the population where I live is all English, so I always just talked English, and my accent kind of just went away.
Right.
But at first, I was like trying to find my words so bad, and I was just not witty with anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know like wrestling, like it's a lot of things, wrestling knowledge is like easier for me now. Like
Right.
it's more input in me where I know what I'm talking about as opposed to when I started.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
easier to like cut a promo based on like, okay, what type of storyline are we doing? Okay, perfect. Then I'll just say this.
Right.
So I'm not like, yeah, I can do it in one shot. Nah, no. But I at least like I have an understanding of what I'll say, what I'll like, you know, how I'll say it, and I'll just write it down and I'll be ready.
Okay. I don't want to embarrass you, but
that's fine.
can you give us an example of how the accent used to be? I mean, you know, it's for research purposes, you know.
Oh my God. Okay.
For research purposes.
What do you want? What do you
like? My name is bonjour, my name is Chantal. You're watching Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope. Maybe we can get it right this time if we do it, you know.
Okay, I was going to say,
accent.
you remember when I first tried it? It didn't go as planned. Okay.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, so you want like the toning, like I'm, you know, the
I just want the accent. I just want the accent.
Okay. All right.
And scene.
Action. My name is Chantal, and I'm from New Brunswick, Canada, the maritime wrestling of Canada. And you are watching Loudmouth that presents Off the Top Rope.
But you didn't give us the accent.
The accent? What do you mean?
You got to do the French accent. That's what the whole thing was. I wanted to hear the accent. I'm curious.
Okay. You're about to hear the accent. Okay.
I want the accent.
Oh my goodness. Okay. My name is Chantal, and I'm from New Brunswick, Canada.
Okay. Right.
You are watching Loudmouth presents Off the Top Rope.
Wow. Okay. All right. Wow.
Expecting. I forced myself to have an accent because it's not natural anymore.
No, well, it's not natural anymore, but okay. It came out there. That was a thick accent. They had a few days,
Oh my goodness.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's my dog. He just grabbed a hold of something. He's like, nope, that's where I'm playing.
A few weeks ago.
So wild.
They had
1 second. We'll
don't worry about it. It's sort that out quickly.
Okay. He's not giving it anyway, so that's fine.
All right.
He's like, don't you dare touch my box. It's like a cardboard box. Cardboard. That's my accent.
A cardboard ball.
Cardboard box.
Oh, box. Box.
That's where you just heard my accent because I couldn't pronounce it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like
cardboard box.
I'm like, what the hell are cardboard balls? How do you get cardboard balls?
It was a tongue twister.
Sorry.
Such a tongue twister. I couldn't get it right. A cardboard.
I was worried. I'm like, what the hell are cardboard balls? I heard balls. I swear I heard balls. Balls in the brain. I don't know. Okay. Sorry.
Yes.
I lost it there. A few weeks ago, damn it, Donovan, come on. A few weeks ago, they had, I'm doing it. A few weeks ago, they had the top Canadian wrestlers. Yeah, they had Edge and they had Bret Hart and they had, Chris Benoit and whatever it may be. Who for you epitomizes the best Canadian wrestler in your experience or in your opinion?
Oh my God. I have to go with Bret Hart.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought you were going to say BRODY STEELE because he trained you.
Oh no, if he watches it. Oh no, I'm so in trouble if he watches it.
He's been on the show. Madison's been on twice. You didn't even mention them.
I just shot myself in the foot. I just went straight. I went straight to Bret Hart. Yeah, no doubt about it. No one else.
Yeah, no one else. He's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. And Brody's over there going, I didn't train you for nothing.
Oh my God.
I know, I'm going to snip this part of the video and send it to him separately and say, hey, Brody, take a look at this. Oh, the best Canadian wrestler, Bret Hart. Okay. I'm saying.
Oh my goodness.
You bribery, you will not shame me with money. I'm just saying. Anyway, we are going to be running out of time. I don't want to keep you much longer, Chantal. I want to thank you very much. This has been an absolute pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. We hope to we will get, because we want to get Madison out here. And I think you and her can reignite that feud and really make it something special. So man, we hope for the best. We're going to try our best to get you out here. And I want to thank you very much for your time. And this has been a hell of a fun interview. I loved it.
It was great. I loved it. I had so much fun.
All right, great. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, from Chantal and the Loudmouth, the CPW All Africa champion. Loudmouth presents Off the Top Rope, uncensored, uncut, and for the third time, raw.